What's good, YouTube? Back again with another video. Today we're going to be talking about tipping culture. We've all been there. You in the store, you in the line, ready to check out. You swipe your card, you tap your card, and then the cashier spins the little square machine around, asking you, do you want to tip 15, 20, 25% to take out your own food? Let's get into it.
Basically, everyone agrees now that tipping is out of control, and this is why. This right here is who to blame: Square. I think it all comes down to the user interface of these Square registers. Just the fact that they give you 3 different options to tip, and they're much bigger than the no tip amount. It's a psychological hack to think that, like, you should tip for this. The fact that pretty much everywhere has these, even places like ice cream shops that you didn't really use to feel.
It's definitely a psychological hack. Like I said, the big blue screens, big 15, 20, 25% is huge. Then you got the cashier there staring you in your face, knowing that that's the tipping screen. So then you don't want to feel bad for not tipping. But I mean, like I said, I'm all for tipping, sit down restaurants. But if I'm just I'm taking out my own food, drinks or whatever, I'm not tipping. That's crazy.
Feel like you had to tip at, you could, maybe there's a tip jar, but now it feels just awkward if you don't, and that's why it really is those Square little iPad things.
Yeah, I think she's 100% spot on with the little square readers. It almost, like I said, makes you feel bad or you're doing something wrong if you don't tip.
It's rude to not tip if you're like getting takeout. Because honestly, why are you even asking me that?
Facts. I just touched on it earlier. We should not be asking to tip when I'm taking out my own food. I mean, what am I tipping for? Tipping you for doing your job, what you get paid for? Like I said, these companies have really finessed the consumer to try to, instead of increasing their employees' wages, they try to put it on the consumer and pass that buck on to us and make it seem like we're obligated to tip these people to take out our own food.
Survey data finding that 30% of Americans think that tipping culture is out of control. I think I'm going to add myself to that list. This is according to a Bankrate survey that found that 2/3 of people have a negative view about tipping, particularly when it comes to contactless and digital payment prompts with predetermined tipping options. These are point-of-sale programs like Toast. You probably see them at lots of different stores now. It said in its most recent report that tipping at sit-down restaurants has held steady. Got no problem with that. But tips at quick-service restaurants fell to a 5-year low of 16.7% in the first quarter of the year. That, to me, is surprising that it fell, given that every time I seem to go to one of these restaurants, I'm now paying 25%. Or 20, it's 20, 25, 30.
Don't lie. It says 5, 10, 15, and maybe I'll do 10.
For 5, 10, 15, what stores are you shopping at?
Place.
Well, no, they definitely say 15, 20, 25. Like I said, they really pushing it. Like I said, I had no problem hitting that no tip option. Like I said, if I'm taking out my own food, I'm not tipping you for doing your job. Sit down restaurant, that's totally different. Like I said, I'm going to the barber, something like that. I throw a tip on there. But to take out my own food, I mean, I'm even with tipping your Uber driver, DoorDash driver. I'm okay with that. But to take out my own food and I gotta pay 15, 20, 25% extra, nah.
Like when you show up at pick up
like a Domino's or something. When you go in to get it.
In this city, for whatever reason, I always try.
Just 25%.
It's often 20, 25, 30%.
At a restaurant.
Picking up your own food?
Oh my God, it's crazy.
For picking up food?
Yes, at all sorts of things. What is the standard even at Starbucks these days?
5, 10, 15 is what they offer on it.
In the city? Are you sure? I think it might be 10, 15, 20. I mean,
I don't go to Starbucks.
The thing that's so fascinating to me about this is you used to give a tip, not just for good service, but also, I think, out of a moral obligation that you felt that the people who were doing this job effectively were being underpaid.
Yeah.
Right.
If you I'm not suggesting they still aren't underpaid, but one of the things that actually has happened over the last 2, 3, and 4 years is it's gone up. We have a friend who owns an ice cream store, and some of the kids that are working at the store now, because of the tipping, are getting paid $25 and $30 an hour.
Yeah.
I don't think that when I went into those stores and was pressing these buttons that I ever.
Like I said, he's absolutely spot on, and he touched on what I mentioned earlier. These owners of these corporations have now passed the buck on to the consumer to help increase the increase the wages that they're not paying their employees. It shouldn't be on me to tip an extra 15-20% to pick up my own food because you don't want to pay your employees a livable wage.
Thought that the kid was getting paid $25 or $30 an hour. That was just not even in my.
I'm just glad it's finding its way to those people. Half the time, I just figured it just, the prices are just 10% higher.
You know the craziest thing I've ever seen for a tipping suggestion? I bought something online for a small company I'd never heard of before, and they suggested a tip.
On the website?
On the website where I'm purchasing it. Here, do you want? I said no to that. Like, are you kidding me?
Man, that's insane. We're getting to the point where they're asking you to tip for online purchases.
We can all agree that tipping culture has gotten completely out of control, at least here in America. Watch what happens when this guy goes to a self-checkout kiosk at the airport to try and purchase this bottle of water.
I'm at a Chibo Express at the airport. There are no employees, right? So, wait for this. I'm going to go in, I'm going to get an iced tea or something.
Now remember, there's no employees at the counter here.
Check out here, right? Okay.
All by yourself.
Okay. Now, I'm going to flip you around just so you see what I see. See that? So I'm going to say next. Would I like to leave a tip?
Absolutely insane that he's at a totally self-automated convenience store. We all seen them in the airport, and he's literally, not only is he checking out his own items, they're asking him, I guess, to tip on top of that. To literally think about this. That's like going to a self-checkout at the grocery store. You scan up all your items, you bag up everything, and then the machine asks you for a tip. Absolutely insane.
It's safe to say that we can all agree collectively in the United States that tipping culture has gone way too far. Call me cheap, call me frugal. I am quite frugal, actually. But call me whatever you want to call me. I do not care. I'm done with it.
Call you a little bit bougie. Is she eating chicken McNuggets with a golden fork?
Tipping culture in this country. So I went to I went to go pick up my plant, my alocasia at this plant.
Just a side note, there's no way those chicken McNuggets are that good. McDonald's has some of the worst nuggets, in my opinion.
Store, like a very local plant store in my neighborhood. Say hi, Allie. I'm gonna name her Allie Wong. Back there, as you can see. And I went in there already knowing what I'm going to get. I did not bother anyone. I did not ask for any help. I walked around the store myself. I picked up my plants myself. Nothing. There was no exchange of conversation with a single sales associate. Not one. So I got up there and I took out my card to pay. And this sales associate, who didn't even bother to say, hello, welcome in, nothing. After I paid, turns her little iPad around. And I'm sure this is coming from the people at the top. They're asking them to do this. She turns her iPad around and her iPad had no option but 20%, 30%, and 50% tip on top of a $30 planks that I picked out myself. And then there ensues a very long stare down, in R. Kelly's word. And I look at her and she looked at me and I looked at her, because what you're not going to do is emotionally blackmail me with my own money. So we're standing, what feels like I think it must have been like 5 minutes or maybe 5 seconds. I don't know. It was a state of purgatory that felt forever and a day. Then she proceeds to let out a very long theatrical sigh, flips the iPad around.
Yeah, I would have had to go off on her. Like I said, According to her, she received no help picking out her plants. She brought everything up to the counter herself. She said she had no interaction with this sales associate. And you got the nerve to have an attitude or sigh because I'm not going to tip. And then it's already diabolical that that company has 20, 30, and 50% tip. That's insane.
Does something in there and comes back around and gives me my receipt. And so I grabbed my receipt and I left and I grabbed my McDonald's, my chicken nuggets, honey, with the money that I was going to use to tip her. And I was never going to tip her. I am done. This being rude about it and the fact that like almost everywhere you go now, you don't even get a choice anymore. Like you don't get a choice. You must tip is insane. Why would I tip on something that I just picked up myself? I didn't ask for help. What am I tipping you for? For your actual job? Why is your boss not paying you enough? And why are you working a job where you're so angry at me for like just picking up my planks and wanting to pay? I'm done with tipping culture. I'm only tipping if I'm sitting down somewhere getting service or my Uber driver. That's it. Most other culture, mine included, where I'm from, is insulting to just offer someone money on top of whatever their job is. Like people will take umbrage to that, you know?
Yep, that's definitely a thing only in America. Only in absolute America.
Like, why are you offering me money? Like, you think I'm poor or something? You're calling me poor? Why would you offer me free money? Only in America do we do this nonsense. And it has to stop. There has to be a cap on it. It's gone too far. These companies are dependent on us to pay their employees' bills. It should not work like that. I understand that we all got to eat. I'm eating myself, but enough is enough.
She described exactly what I said earlier. This is the biggest finesse going. These companies are literally trying to have the consumer subsidize their employees' wages.
Risk of being called broke, I gotta ask. Can we all admit that this tipping shit has gotten out of control? And don't get me wrong, restaurants, I get it. Waitresses, waiters, I know y'all only making about 45 cents an hour. And that's crazy. So I get it. The minimum I tip is...
The fact that that is crazy to me. The fact that waiters, I don't know if it's $1 or $1.50. I know it's something crazy low per hour that they make. Like, I don't understand how these corporations are able to get away with this type of finesse. Where, like I said, being a waiter, you're solely dependent upon tips. Because, like, I mean, your hourly wage is absolutely nothing. Like, this is literally one of the greatest finesses of all times that these corporations and these companies are pulling.
It's about 15%, and I could tip up to 100% of the bill. It just depends on how I'm feeling. The drunker I am, the more I'm finna tip. You understand me? But if I'm placing an order online for some food, and you're making me pay online, like there's no option for me to pay at pickup, don't ask me for no damn tip. I ain't even seen the food yet.
Facts.
What? I haven't even seen the food. I don't know what's going on with the food. I could get there and it looked like trash, and I'm already tipped 20%. You got to be kidding. What? And not to mention you folks that be providing services. I just seen this video. This girl went to go get a massage. They asked her to pay for the massage before she got the massage, and then asked for a tip before she got the massage. And then got mad when she tipped like 10%. What? That's crazy.
That's absolutely crazy and makes absolutely no sense. You're supposed to be tipping. Usually when you tip is for, great service, someone with above and beyond. So the fact that she paid for the massage first and then had the tip first before she even received the service, man, I would have walked out.
What be on y'all's mental for real? Why not just increase if you want the tip that bad, increase your prices.
Exactly. Just include that thing in the price so you don't even have to worry about it.
You want a fucking tip? Are you serious? You too?
Absolutely crazy. So right there, I guess that's one of those self-automated coffee machines where they make everything for you. And even there, they asking for a tip. Like, what are you tipping for? You literally got a robot making everything. So literally, that's just going straight to the company's bottom line.
A big America, we got a big problem. I went and got a field today. It was $50. I went to go pay. Paid on my card, tapped it. The lady said, "Will you be leaving your tip in cash?" Excuse me, bitch? Who said I was leaving a tip for these basic ass nails? Although I had full intention on tipping, I'm a tipper. I tip 90% of the time.
I got a feeling she had no intention of tipping.
The service has to be atrocious in order for me not to tip. I slid her money. Service providers, you are mentally ill if you become upset because somebody does not leave you a tip and you make your own prices. Please charge what you're worth. Don't charge what people you think people gonna pay. Charge what you're worth, and people will still come. So you're not upset if somebody don't tip you. Don't rely on tips. Charge your worth. I did hair for years. I was never ever upset when somebody leave me a tip. I felt well compensated. A tip was a plus for me. Thank you very much. Coffee shops. I got the biggest beef with you. Next time that barista spin that screen around and say, "One more question," and they don't like the answer to my question, and that bitch whole demeanor change, I'm going to jail. And what I look like going to jail for being a barista ass.
She on one. But that's facts. So these coffee shops, these ice cream shops, it's no way you should be tipping an extra 20-25% for a person to do what they were. All they're doing is what they were hired, what they're getting paid, what they're hired for. They were hired to make coffee. They were hired to make ice cream. So why am I tipping you for that? It's absolutely insane. And then to get an attitude with somebody because they don't tip.
What you in here for? Being a barista's ass? And I'm not even a tough guy. Okay? I'm just addicted to coffee. I'm not a morning person. And I don't like people's reaction when they ask me for something and I say no and they get an attitude with me. It's a problem. In this economy, that's going to get somebody fucked up. Could we please take the tip off the screen? When did that even start? All y'all got to do is raise the prices on the coffee, pay them people a little bit more, and we all be all right. Just raise the price. I'm already addicted to this shit. I'm going to buy it regardless. Finesse me a little bit. America, this economy, it's going to get somebody hurt.
Facts.
Somebody help me. This is a real legit question. But I think tipping is starting to go a little bit too far. And here's what I mean. I was at the airport and the little store where you check out, I had bought a few items. And when I was done, it asked that I want a tip. And so I'm trying to figure out, tip you for what? I grabbed the items and I paid for them. Why am I tipping you again for just doing your job? Like you didn't provide any extra service. So I'm just confused because I even seen when people selling stuff now, they asking for a tip. We bought your product. Why are we tipping you to cash us out? I don't know. But if you know, just help me. I don't mind tipping people, but it got to make sense.
I'm with you. This is a new theory that I just thought of. If you're going to a self-checkout, right? Say you're in a supermarket and you're scanning all your items, you're bagging everything else up. Shouldn't the store be giving you a discount for that? Seeing as obviously that eliminates jobs. So that's less labor that they have. So they should be passing that cost off, that savings off to the consumer. So shouldn't I be getting a discount when I use self-checkout? Shouldn't I get like a $5 coupon, $3 off or something if I'm checking out my own items and bagging them up? Maybe that's just me.
Yeah, tipping is like out of control. I even saw him talking about it on Bussin' with the Boys. Like you order a Starbucks, you're already way overpaying. As soon as they flip it around for you to pay, it's like, you want to tip 20%, 25%, 30%? It's like, dude, you're getting...
When they flip that screen around, people just need to, soon as the barista turn that thing around, you need to grab it and spin it right back around, say no words, and just walk off. It's insane that you should be tipping somebody for doing their job.
Give me a coffee, I'm tipping you $0. I I mean, what is tipping coming to? When you go to 7-Eleven, do you tip? When you go to McDonald's, do you tip? I mean, it's like outrageous. Like, and it makes you feel uncomfortable, like I'm doing something wrong by not leaving a tip. But I mean, I'm not giving you a 25% tip on an already, because I'm in a casino, Starbucks, everything's already double the price. But literally, even Taylor Lewan on Bussin' with the Boys, who made over 80 million in his career, says the same thing. So before you start calling me cheap, a multi-millionaire agrees.
Yeah, like I said, this tipping culture is literally out of control. Let me know your craziest tipping story in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.